We've only just begun this early prototype, and already our assets are starting to get a little bit disorganized. It's really important that we start with good habits of organizing everything in our projects so that we don't get confused, lose things, and make bad references. It also gives us more customized control over how we're going through this prototype phase. So I'm going to be creating a couple packages or folders to organize information. Down here in my project menus, I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call this folder materials. And in it, I'm simply going to select my materials and drop them in. I'm also going to make a folder called prefabs, where I'm going to store all of the prefabricated objects in my game. Now, whenever I want to find these different types of components, I have scenes, prefabs, and materials, they're nicely organized. And as I start to really quickly produce tons of content, it's going to be really helpful to have these things organized. And we expect to see that you have similar organization from the very beginnings of all of your projects in Unity. I can also organize things a little bit better in my hierarchy. If you studied coding with me in the past, you'll know a little bit about this fancy thing called inheritance. What we're doing now does set us up for inheritance in a certain way to come, but right now all we're really worried about is actually organizing our assets a little bit better. I'm going to create an empty game object. It doesn't really matter where it is because it doesn't have any components other than a position transform. So we're actually not going to see this in our game. The purpose of this is to organize kind of subgroups of objects. I'm going to rename this one ramps. And in it, I'm going to hold down Control and select all my ramps and drag them into this empty object, allowing me to collapse this object, open and closed. Finally, what this allows me to do also is in the inspector, I have this little checkbox toggle that these objects are currently enabled or disabled, meaning that I can get them out of the way while I do other development without actually deleting them or removing them. I've just, okay, I like what they look like. I like where they are for now. I'll deal with them later. Let's group them up, disable the objects. And now we're ready for what we're going to be doing in our next tutorial at adding some terrain without all those things kind of in the way. I actually also want to disable this one. Perfect. See you in the next video.